My God, it is already Tuesday. Hey everyone, welcome to In Black. Oh my goodness. Tonight's topic is going to be, did I say controversial? I think it is going to be controversial. So let me share the topic. Should minor attracted persons be included within the LGBTQ plus or trans attracted community? Why or why not? So, whoop, we got Kalani on the screen. Me take her off. That's okay. So, listen, y'all, before we begin, I would like for all of you to share this live, tune in. You might want to get the kiddies out the room because this topic, it is so controversial that I'm not even sure what the panel is going to say, but I am definitely interested in hearing their perspectives. I know you are too, but get the babies out the room. If anyone is probably sensitive to uh, cursing, you might want to leave off too. But I can't wait to have this discussion in Black. If you don't know what a MAP is a minor attracted persons. So there you have it. Get everybody out the room that shouldn't be here. By the way, if you don't know me, I am your host. You can call me Peirrce. You can call me Peach. This is a IME Inc. broadcast. And as usual, everything shared here are the thoughts and views of the panel, not necessarily of those of IME Inc. Um, I guess let's have this discussion in Black. Let me take a moment and bring my panel in. I need for you guys to share this to all the groups. Share it with a friend that's that wanted to have this discussion. This is going to be a deep one. Oh man, panel. Let me bring y'all on. Ooh, this topic here. Mm. Are y'all ready to have this discussion in Black?
Yeah.
Go on and get it done.
You ready?
Oh,
Not really, but yeah.
okay. So last week, I asked all of y'all, should maps be added on to the LGBTQ plus or the trans attracted community? We all screamed in unison, what? No.
Hell
Some of
no.
y'all even had colorful words before the no. So we're here tonight. We're going to have the conversation. And then in the end, I want to see if anybody going to change their mind or have a change of heart or have some sympathy or have a little bit of something for the maps. All right, so I'm gonna begin asking my questions. Ooh, controversial topic. Get the kiddies out the room. So the first question, based on your understanding of maps, right? Because I know y'all all went and looked up what maps are. Um, do you believe they are exclusively attracted to the same sex or transgender children, or can they also be attracted to children of the opposite sex? I'm gonna put Smack in the hot seat. Who are maps attracted to?
From what I see, they attracted to people like kids. Am I correct?
Yes, but the question is, are they attracted to children that are their same sex, transgender children, or the opposite sex, or it just doesn't matter?
I think it doesn't matter. I don't know. You're asking me a question that I don't know the answer to, but I know what maps are, and I can just tell you how I feel. I'm gonna pass on the question.
Thank you, Smack. All right. Andre and Zay, y'all in the hot seat.
I felt that coming. So what I see, they are attracted to just kids. Period. They don't care if it's the same sex kids, if it's a opposite attract kid, if it's a You know, if it's your kid, my kid, your grandmom's kid, somebody's child, they trying to get in their bed.
All right. What about Zay? Same?
Yeah, I agree with that too. I don't think it
Okay.
matters.
Okay. Tim, you're in the hot seat. Who are these maps attracted to?
Well, actually, I think they're just like everybody else. As far as their attraction, like some people are straight, some people are gay, some people are bisexual, and I think some of them are attracted to kids of the opposite sex. Some of them are attracted to kids of the same sex, and some of them are attracted to both. I think. I mean, I've never tried to rationalize their intentions or their thought patterns or because I don't agree with it. But I think they're just like everybody else. Some of them like same sex, some of them like opposite sex, some of them like both.
Thank you, Tim. Dan,
Hmm.
who are the maps attracted to?
Children. Uh,
Children of the
yeah,
same sex,
I think
opposite
it.
sex?
You got them in all forms. You know, I don't think that they're attracted to just one. You know, you got. I mean, it's one thing. You know, minors. You know, so yeah, I don't think it's. There's no category for it. It's with any whatever. You know, so it's to me it's psychological. You know, but so yeah, that's just so I would say, but the thing is, they're attracted to all sexes, but I think we put on the category on the same sex a lot, and we don't talk about the I mean, there's a whole lot with this. You got parents that interact with their children, so you know, so I, but there's no it's just minors, and it's just attraction to minors.
Sexual attraction.
Yes, and it could be something different than that too. But yeah, I think it's mostly sexual. You know, but it goes. And then it's a lot with that category. You got you got minors that are attracted to older. You got 12-year-old kids attracted to grown people. You know,
Oh, okay.
so you know it's
One
uh,
put Kalani in the hot seat.
yeah.
Hey, Kalani, who are these maps attracted to? What types of children?
Doesn't matter. Um, I'm gonna just agree with what has been said already. I think it's just children. It doesn't matter whether they're gay, straight, boy, girl. It's children, and that's the Never mind. Go ahead.
Thank
I'm
you.
done.
Thank you,
Children.
Kalani. This topic is a difficult topic, and I thank each and every one of you for agreeing to come on, because I really truly think this is a discussion that needs to be had, and more importantly, I think tonight we're bringing awareness to a possible potential orientation that people probably aren't even aware of at this point. But to answer the question, I will have to agree with Tim. I believe that maps are similar to, I mean, just like everybody else, whatever you're attracted to. If you're attracted to the same sex, you might be a gay map or a lesbian map, or one that people really don't want to deal with, which is a heterosexual map. I think maps come in all forms.
Right.
So all identities, all orientations. So I agree with Tim. So the next question is, some individuals who identify as MAPS hold the controversial belief that children are capable of consenting to certain types of relationships. As someone who identifies as LGBTQ plus or attracted to trans individuals, what is your view on what the legal age of consent should be? What is the legal age of consent in your mind? How low, not necessarily how low would you date, but how low do you think is appropriate where an individual can make a decision?
Hmm.
I'm going to put Stan on the hot seat. What should be
Okay.
the legal age of consent?
Uh, I mean, I can go a whole lot with this because I have experience with this. Um, to me, um, I don't. I There's a couple of things I could say. When I was 13 or 14, I was attracted to older people, and even I put myself in situations where, at like so I was like in 7th and 8th grade, where I wanted to experience some things sexually, and so I would meet people that was on the street, uh, older men driving in cars, and would stop, and I was the one pursuing it. You know, they didn't approach me so much. I was the aggressor to try to experience some things. So I knew what I was doing and what I wanted. Um, I mean, and I'm just being honest with everybody that that's how I was. And I was no more than 12, 13, not even 13, I don't think. You know, and I remember getting in a car with a man, and he was really nervous. And I was like, you know, look, you know, I was like, he couldn't believe how aggressive I was. Um, so I understand how he was, but now you look years back, years ahead, and then when I started teaching school, I had all these young girls, 14 years old, 15 years old, approaching me for sex. You know, and I mean, it's when the question is, okay, is there age limit on it? I think legally, yeah, because now as you're older, you become a parent or whatever. Um, but I can't use the excuse that I was molested or somebody approached me. You know, I had a conversation with my mother because of the fact that she saw certain things in me, and I let her know that nobody ever molested me. You know, she was trying to, you know, we was talking about sexuality, she was trying to get in her mind to satisfy her brain. Where did I go wrong? And you didn't go wrong anywhere. This was me. Because she was trying to say, did I leave you when you want to play baseball? Did the baseball coach molest you? And you want to be a Boy Scout? Did the Boy Scout master do something? What did I do wrong? Was I not there? No, I pursued these things. And I didn't make excuses and try to blame the coach did it. That they never came to me with that. I'm the one that pursued it. So all I can say, I don't know. When you put an age on it, I don't know, because if you're a minor, you're a minor, period. But a lot of times we do things that we know we're doing. And I would never sit back and if anything came up and I say, hey, this coach molested me and I did that, to try to justify what happened to me. I think sometimes a lot of us do these things, and then we sit back and say, hey, we were molested, we were this, we were that, I was abused, I didn't know what I was doing, I'm a minor. Everything that happened, nobody came to me and did nothing. I was the pursuer of all of it. You know, so if it's a minor, it's a minor. I say when you put an age on it, well, I just say put the age at and like I said, when I was teaching school, I had 14 and 15. And, you know, I even asked some of the kids at that time, with all these boys around the school, why would you want to have sex with me? Why would you want to have sex with a man? And the kids told me, well, Mr. Lucas, we don't fuck with boys. We don't fuck with these young boys. We fuck with men. My boyfriend 35 years old. So I would just say, hey, the legal age is what it is. That's what the legal age is. And sometimes we have to sit and think as grown people, you know, we just gotta, you know, I don't know. A good friend of mine is a teacher. He's a doctor, as a matter of fact, and he has a fetish for midgets. And I told him, I said, well, that's just to me, he had fetishes for midgets because that was just his way of saying I can legally fuck with somebody that's looks like a minor but not a minor, you know. And that's what he did. He dated nothing but midgets. He sought midgets, and he had these little midgets, but they were grown women, but they looked like little girls. So I mean, it's just a lot of mental shit with this. But I would just say, to answer the question, I just think legally, if the law says 18, then let's stick with the law. You know.
Stick with the law. But what do you really think the age should be? We're not talking about the law. We talk about what the stand believe the legal age should be for consent.
I would say the legal age for consent would be like 15 or 16 years old.
Okay.
You know, I mean, hey, look about it. If a 12-year-old kid went out there and he shot, and I came in and I took a gun and I stuck you up and shot you in your head, they're not going to try me as a 12-year-old kid. They're going to try me as an adult, because they're going to say, well, you knew what you were doing. So they're going to say, oh, you went and shot Peirrce in the head, and now we're going to try you as a child. No, they're going to try me as an adult because I did everything, and I put everything together as an adult. But when it comes to sex,
depends on what state you're in.
Right. But then, like I said, depends on what state. So then sexually, I'm always going to be a minor. But when I commit a crime, I can be tried as an adult.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So, I mean,
Okay.
all right.
Thank you, Stan. All right. So next up, I'm going to call Vonda to the hot seat.
Yeah. What is that extra noise in the background? I'm sorry. It's loud in my ear. All right. Thank you. I feel as though this is me. What do I think the age of conception? Is that what you said? Where they can make their own decisions?
Yes, of consent.
When you get out my house and on your own.
So you think the age of consent should be? I don't think. I need a number.
You need a number? Well, most parents are ready for their kids to leave when they turn 18. So I'm going to say 18.
Okay. Thank you, Vonda. All right. Dre and Zay, legal age.
I'm with Vonda. 18. And if you're still in my house at 18, you still ain't grown enough to make a legal consent to be out here just free banging who you want to bang. You know, number one, respect my house, but then number two, respect yourself. And you know, I feel that once you get to a legal age of 18, because that's considered legal and no longer a minor, then yeah, you have the ability to make up in your mind who you want to have sex with or who you want to be around, but you still not gonna do that in my house. If my child comes into my house at 16 or 15 with somebody my age, they both gonna get shot. Like, you lost your mind, and there's no reason why you are even out here. I mean, and I feel like today's kids, they're forced in a they're in a society where they're forced to be grown too early because our parents are failing. Um, you know, but at the end of the day, you're a parent, so tear that ass up, and then tell the adult you got two options: you stay away, or you gonna get locked up where they gonna have fun with you and treat you like a minor. Is
Y'all ain't funny. Y'all
Oh,
probably don't know.
did y'all hear his response?
No, we didn't hear him.
Oh, I said y'all pretty much y'all answered the question. So I would
Okay.
say you gotta be like 18 to
Okay.
the consent of, because like yeah you can do it younger, but you're still considered a child. So I feel like you gotta be grown, or at least
Okay.
living on your own, doing your own thing, not with your parents.
Okay. Thank y'all. Kalani, hot seat time.
Okay, here's the thing. So, kind of like Stan, I've been on both sides. I've been the minor that was pursued, and I've been the minor who pursued. Um, from that standpoint, it still doesn't matter to me now that I'm older whether or not I could consent at any age under 18. I still feel like there's a responsibility as adults that we have to do what we're supposed to do and not engage in certain things that we know we're not supposed to be doing. So that's where I stand on it. Um, 18 is usually when, like Vonda said, parents want you out their house and you can do whatever you want. You become an adult. I just do not feel like the development mentally, even though I have the ability to say this is what I want and this is what I want to do. I don't think mentally, as a minor, you can put things together in your head to see down the road why this is not a good idea. That's why they're minors. They have to be steered. They have to be raised. They have to be, you know what I'm saying, told what is right and what is wrong. Even though I think that there is a way that's right, it may not be the right way because I'm a minor. So I feel like after 18, after you out of your parents' home, you this it's on you to do what you need to do. But no, I don't think anybody under the age of 18 should be making any decisions about who they need to be sleeping with beyond an 18-year-old. Like I'm done. I mean, this topic is really interesting.
Tim, you're in the hot seat. Thank you, Kalani.
Me honestly, I think it should be the early 20s. Just piggybacking on some things that have already been said. I think like when early 20s is when a lot of young adults take responsibility for themselves and move out on their own. Early 20s, you also have a better sense of rationale and reasoning to protect yourself with that you don't have at 16, 17, 18 years old. And with the things that you're introduced to in this lifestyle, I don't think that I think early 20s. I think teens they're still very very gullible, very easy to lure into things that are going to bind them, such as drugs, prostitution, or just the fast lifestyle. I think early 20s.
Thank you, Tim. Woo, this topic, I tell you, controversial. Thank you to all the people that that's tuned in. Feel free to drop some comments, questions. Let us know that you're here. This topic is I understand, I know, kind of make you think about not only encountering a map, but were you a victim of a map? And maybe you should have viewed the situation that you were in a little differently. To answer the question, I'm going to agree with 18. We do have a minister on this panel. Um, as a young girl, I was told in Bible study that you are an adult when you get your menses. Um, Let me know if that's correct, Dre. That's what I was told in Bible study.
That you're
But
an adult when you do what?
when you when you are capable of having your menses or you're going through puberty, you
False.
are an adult.
That
Okay.
pastor should have been smacked.
Okay. So you're hearing it from a minister, false. But this is what I was taught. I also heard that this was in the Talmud, but I am not Jewish. I've heard it in other religions. This was a practice that was going on since the beginning of the time where in royalty you were married to a child, a minor. Is a thing called pederasty. This was a culture. But even with all that being said, I don't agree that under 18 you could really make decisions. I don't even think at
Well,
18 you could
Pierce,
fully make a decision.
Pierce, have you ever seen The Color Purple?
Yes.
See, even in the United States, in the late 1800s and the early 1900s, the age to marry started at 13, and the father offered his daughter along with gifts to marry her off.
Some states 9.
Yeah, so this is something that is always been a part of our culture. It's just as time has went on, they moved the legal age limit up. It used to be common practice to marry women, children, girls, little girls, off at starting at 12 and 13 years old, and sometimes younger. So, I mean, it's kind of something that the culture was already built on, but then kind of turned their nose up at with time.
Mhm.
But it's always been here. You say what's confusing me about this question is why are we asking should they be allowed here when they've been here since the beginning of our culture? They are some of the leaders in our culture.
And what culture? LGBTQ?
LGBTQ
I need to know
culture.
who. So,
There are people that you know. If you've been affiliated with ballroom or pageantry, you know
I have
tons of pedophiles. You
been
just don't know who they are.
okay. So this is what I'm gonna say. I understand, how it was back. I want to add this if I could. I understand how things were back in the day, but as times change, look at all the trauma. I mean, even you look at Cuddle Purple, look at all the trauma. She was the
Right,
slave. She was the slave to the husband. She had to cook his food, iron his clothes,
right.
take care of kids that weren't hers, that
I
disrespect.
wasn't
Hold on, let me
kind of
finish. Let me finish. I still That's trauma for someone at 13 having to take on that responsibility and having to grow up so fast, not get a proper education, so that if something happened to Mr. and them kids, how's she gonna take care of herself? I'm just saying, or him, however it go, because I didn't see no young boys being sent to no misses back in that time whose husband died. Now she needs a new man. But I'm just want
Preach.
to say thank you for the laws changing, because I truly feel that they needed to change. And yeah, 18 may not be the age for some people, but this is my Black perspective. My mother and father, they educated us. We have family values. And I feel as though if parents in this century, because we're not back there in that time, start educating with their kids about the maps, because it does exist, they need to do that education. Not one time, keep educating your child, because right now it's easy with how this world is, that kids can be lured in to the littlest things starting at the age of 6 because of digital technology. That's what I want to say. But for this question, 18, because then, or out of my house, as Dre said, you do your own thing. A lot of things we do now at this age, a lot of our parents don't like, but they accept it. You feel what I'm saying? But there is nothing that someone can tell me that a 40-year-old man having sexual attraction for a 5-year-old child, 6-year-old child, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, there is something that there's some trauma somewhere that he needs to deal with, because that's not normal. I'm sorry.
Okay. Can I
I
say?
myself have not, as I've been reading on it, I myself have not been, well, I'm lying, because I do know people who were older and found attraction in teenage girls, you know what I'm saying? But the sexual attraction, because that's the part that I keep seeing, sexually attracted. Meaning you're thinking of ways that what even whether you act on it or not, you're thinking of what you want to do with them sexually. I can't rock with that. And I would be that person to help get you some help, but you are not a part of my community.
Can I say something now? Can I say something now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Number one, I wasn't agreeing with any of that. Number two, I'm going to remind you, I was molested as a child. So I wouldn't be taken up for any of these people in any way, fashion, shape, or form.
No. I'm
So,
not saying that you are. I was
okay.
addressing
I
those
was just
apps
pointing.
that
I
think
was,
that it's
but
okay.
okay. I was just pointing out to Peirrce how long it's been a part of the culture. I'm not agreeing with anything. I'm just letting y'all know that y'all are saying, should we introduce them into our community? When they are in our community, they are leaders in our community. They are people that crowds and fans, and they're people that got thousands and thousands of followers on Instagram and all these other platforms. I mean, it's like, and people know this is the type of thing they do, but because they're popular or because they're a celebrity at any level in this community, people look around it and they continue to champion them, knowing that this is what they do with the young people that are around them. That's what I'm saying.
Thank you, Tim. And I understand what you are saying. You were chiming in on me as I was trying to help people understand that this was a common practice and it just didn't fall out the sky. People
Right,
in a time have been doing this, not saying that it's right, but it's ingrained in not just the Black community, but all communities. It's a
right,
practice. It happens. But I do
right.
agree. after saying all of that, and I thank y'all because this, again, I'm expecting all the outbursts because this is a very touchy topic. I believe that 18 is the number, but I still at that point don't believe that we are mature enough to handle. Okay, so when I think of being mature enough, I think of not just the act of having sex. I think
Right.
the consequences afterwards. Can we handle the consequence? Or are we still continuously being victimized? Because you can be a victim without sex. There is financial victimization. Um, it's all types of things. And this is why, I presented this question. What do you think the age is? A map. We're just going to continue to go through the questions and exploring and exposing things for people to understand what maps truly are, the mind state, and why they should or shouldn't be a part of this community. So we all mostly agree that 18 years old or older should be the age, right? Obviously, because that age you can't really grasp the concept of sex, what you're doing with it, and you can't handle the responsibilities of it. So I personally don't understand where a map could believe that a child could consent and still and be on equal footing with you. They're a victim. So the next question is, and this is where Vonda kind of harped in on it. What is the distinction between consensual identity based attractions, meaning being LGBTQ plus or trans attracted, and non consensual attractions? What is the difference? What is the difference between the two? Consensual relationships or identity based attractions or non consensual attractions? What's the difference between us and the maps? What's the difference? I'm going to put Dre on the hot seat. Dre and Zay, what's the difference?
I so felt that coming. Um, to me, I mean, consensual to me is somebody who understands and can grasp exactly what they're doing. They understand the repercussions behind it. They understand that, this decision can change my life. This decision can, can change my future. It can shift my entire atmosphere. I feel that non consensual is somebody who doesn't understand what they're doing. To even like to what Tim was saying about the movie The Color Purple. These young people back in that day was forced by their parents. They weren't consenting to anything. They had no choice, or they were homeless. I feel that we now today's times. I feel that our children are a little bit more aware of society, but many of them, to me, still are non-consensual because all I'm hearing is you need to figure out a way to bring money in my house, and this is how it's bringing it in. Because we have parents who just weren't ready to be parents, or just at the end of the day, they don't need to be parents. So to me, I think consensual to me is I understand what I'm getting myself into, but non-consensual is I'm doing this because of this reason. Be it that they were raped, be it that they feel that this is how they can get attention because they're not getting attention at home. And so now I got this older man who's showing me attention, and when he's showing me attention, it just happens to feel good to me. But I don't know what I'm doing. So it's still, to me, that's not consensual. Okay.
I don't know. These questions is complicated. I don't know how to really answer them.
Okay.
Okay. Thank y'all. I'm going to put Stan in the hot seat.
Um, there's a whole, like I said, it's a lot with it as far as the community. But then let's think about certain things um, when the parents put the kids out. Um, I guess like a lot of the gay community will take in a lot of minors because you have minors that can't connect with their parents. You got like you guys say, hey, when you're 18 years old, the basic thing, you get out the house, you leave, and all this. That's part of what happens. We put our children in situations where we make them vulnerable for people. You know, you got kids that are gay at 11 and 12 years old, and then the parent throws them in the street. You know, you gay, you got to get out of my house. So what we do, we set these kids up to be in these situations because they're vulnerable to it. So you're going to have predators out there that's going to take advantage of it. You got the what they call the ballroom scene. It takes in our kids, and these kids got no place to go, and they have nothing else. So our kids they're already vulnerable when they get to the ballroom scene. And there's going to be people taking advantage of that. So we set our kids, go to gay pride. And you go to pride and you got your 8, 9-year-old kid with you, and you got grown men walking around with their asses out in chaps and shit. We put our kids around that. So we actually put our children in these situations as adults because we want our children to see, okay, let's go to pride, and I want you, we're going to go to pride, and I want you to be free. I want you to see. And these kids see a lot of shit when they go. They see a whole lot of things at 10, 9, 10 years old. So they see things. They see grown men walking around naked. They see grown men with things in their tits. You see things. And so we put our children in a lot of these situations. So there's no category to why something is the way it is. You can tell your parents say, hey, look, I want you to go to church every day, go to school every day, be everything that you're supposed to be. And I got friends that did everything their parents wanted. They went to the school their parents didn't want them to, they didn't want to go to. They got degrees they didn't want. They got master's degrees, and now they're sitting back cleaning carpets and doing lawn because they followed their parents, what their parents want them to do. And then my friend said, he's like, when my parents come to me, like, he's like, I went to the church you wanted me to go to every day. I went to the school you want me to go to. I became what you wanted me to be as an adult. I took the occupation you want me to have. And now I'm doing what I want to do, but I'm the crazy one. Now I'm crazy. Because I followed all the pattern you gave me, and it just didn't work for me. Because it wasn't what I wanted. I did everything you wanted me to be.
For you.
So we sit back and put ourselves in situations. Our parents put these kids in situations a lot, and yet we don't know we do. We put our kids around, like I said, we go to gay pride, and you see all the kind of the goings on that people do out there, the drinking, the this, the that, and then think our kids at 10, 11 years old should be able to, you know better. Well, I seen this man drinking like that. That's what I did. But at 10 years old, you want to sit back and make him have common sense. People out there getting high at pride and everything. And our kids see this. And we bring our kids around it. But then at that point, we want our kids to be able to comprehend what's right and what's wrong. We want them to comprehend. Okay, but you know better than that. Mom, I see you do it every day. Mom, I see you smoke a crack pipe every day. But I'm the one that's supposed to have the common sense. So we put these things in our children to do, and then so this topic is a wide range of things. But like I said, people got to start taking responsibility of what we do with our own children. And then even as adults, you'll sit back and say, well, as an adult, you know better than to mess with a minor. But how are you going to put all that onto an adult that got issues But yet you got a kid that you want your kid to have more common sense than the adult. You know, it's like even playing with these sports, these athletes. You got 21, 22-year-old kids coming out of college, and if they get a speeding ticket, they make the news. And they all want to know, oh, we're now the team. We got to evaluate what you're going to do. We got to evaluate because you're putting all this responsibility. You're giving a fucking 20-year-old kid $30 million and expect him not to sit back and screw up certain shit. And we got a damn president that sits back, do everything that's responsible, but we want a 23-year-old kid to be more responsible than the president of the United States. And we put that burden on the kid.
Okay, so basically what you're saying is you don't think there's a clear distinction between a consensual identity-based attraction and a non-consensual
I mean, it
attraction?
depends on the situation because, like I said, when I was teaching school, I had 15-year-old kids come to me that were fucking 35-year-old men. And so when I sit back and say, why don't you date the boys? Well, I don't date boys. These boys ain't nothing. They date men. Their mama know they date these men. They see their mama do it. You know, so we're trying to put a lot of responsibility in a lot of different areas. And the problem, the bottom line is we try to put the responsibility on the kid. We want the kid to have all the common sense. And we got adults that don't have it. And we put our kids in situations to be vulnerable.
Okay.
If I threw my son out this house right now and threw him out and he's in the street, now he's vulnerable to somebody taking advantage of him because now somebody's got to fill his need. You know, it's a whole lot with this. You can't, there's no, this way it's got to be done, it's got to be done this way, it's got to be done that way, and this is how it happens. This is society. It's a whole lot to like how we got where we got in our life. It's like if I sat back with all the tragedy and things I've had in my life that I brought on myself, I wouldn't change a thing because it took all those things to sit back and get me to where I'm at right now. But that was what happened for me. It won't work for you. It won't work for Tim. It won't work for anybody. You know, so we can't sit back and just say, hey, it's like there's no book saying, hey, this is how you become a great parent. Read this book and you'll be a great parent. You know, it's just too diverse. You know,
Okay.
it is. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Stan. Vonda, I'm going to put you in the hot seat.
All right. Let me look at that question again.
What's the difference between a consensual identity-based attraction, which is what you are, and a MAP, a non-consensual attraction?
I'm not sexually attracted to no minor. That's the difference. I ain't attracted to no kid. Just not. Point blank is simple. You want to know the difference? That's what it is. They attracted to kids. I'm attracted to a grown woman. And I do have restrictions on age for me. Okay? Like you're not gonna catch me with no 20-year-old. I'm 50-some years old with nobody 20. Feel what I'm saying? So that's what it is for me. That's the difference. I'm not sexually attracted to no minor, no kid. That's the difference. I can like what I like, but I ain't attracted to no kids.
Thank you, Vonda. I'm going to put Tim in the hot seat.
Okay, so the question is, what's the difference between consensual and non-consensual?
A consensual identity-based attraction, which is LGBTQ, and a non-consensual attraction, which would be a MAP. What's the difference?
The difference is one is two people who consent, and this is what they get together because this is what they like to do. And the other is one taking advantage of someone that is not prepared for anything that they're about to introduce that child or person into. That's the difference. One is mutual, one is not. One is manipulation, whether it's the adult manipulating the child or the child manipulating the adult.
Thank you, Tim. Kalani, you up next.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Vonda and Tim that number one, I'm not attracted to kids, and my inbox be full of people under the age of 30 talking about this and that, and I'm just like, if you don't get somewhere, but that's the society we live in. But if I was like them, I'd take it too far or take it, you know what I'm saying, to a whole nother level. So I think it's all about consent. And when you take away somebody's power to decide whether they want to do something or not, I think that's very predatory behavior. So I think that the distinction is it's mutual consent on one side, and on the other side, you're taking away somebody's power to decide.
Thank you, Kalani. Oh, what a question. So I agree with Tim, and I agree with Kalani, and I agree with Vonda. Um, I keep hearing a lot about children engaging or pursuing adults. So this is not on our question board, but just to clear it up, does that does that stop the adult from being a map because the child is pursuing that adult? Would that adult still be considered a map if an
If he
under
gives into it,
18-year
he
old
does it.
child?
Did Dre
If
and
he
them
gives
answer?
into it, he does it.
Dre, did y'all answer the last question? Yeah, they did. Okay, so does that's the question. If a 18 years old person or younger go to an adult and pursues them, and that adult decides to have sex with that child, is that adult a map? Do you consider that person a map? Vonda, I'm gonna put you in the hot seat.
Well, you always put me in the hot seat. So, how old is the adult?
Let's say they're over 20.
Yeah. And you said 18 though. 18, they okay.
I
She
said
said
18
18
years
or
the
younger.
younger the child.
You said 8 years or younger?
18 years and younger the child.
If they 18, mm, you said 18 and younger doesn't make them a map. If they 18, I'm
If
gonna be
a
liberal.
ma-
If
if
you
the
say
if the
17
eight
and younger, then I'm gonna say yeah, make them a map.
okay,
Yeah,
even though the child is pursuing the adult, you still consider them a map.
yeah, because they should know better.
Okay.
The adult in the situation should know better because when
Here,
that parent finds out, right? If their child, even if they're, man, look,
when they go to court,
when
that's
that,
not a defense. Did the child pursue me is not a defense. It incriminates you.
so where all the stories that I have heard up and down, I'm just talking about my state, right? Heard a lot of stories. People, sharing their story with me. I don't care if you 21, messing with somebody 15, 16, you should know better. Find someone around your age. That is something that my parents instilled in us. Once again, back to them family values. So I say once again, the answer to your question, yeah, they're mad because they're attracted to a minor.
Thank you, Smack. Let's put Dre and Zay in there.
You go.
Absolutely. I totally feel like that. I totally feel like that. Nah, seriously though. Even though they're like 18, I feel like if you like 10 years older, maybe that's okay. But if you're like 20 plus years older than them, I feel like it might be an issue because at the end of the day, they're grown, but they're not really that grown because they're not really matured because a lot of them still live with their parents. A lot of them don't have responsibilities or bills. So for me to say that, like, I'm 100% okay with this, you're not absolutely really. So the adult, yeah, I would feel like it's still considered an AP.
Um, I'm gonna say if you're now 20 is different. Like you're 21 and older, and you going after somebody that's 10 years older than you. You know you grown, but that 18 makes a difference. And to me, not only are you a mat, but you still a predator. I don't know why this is called minor attracted people. It should be minor attracted predators. These are predators. Let's just call it what it is. Like don't change up what you are. Just be 100 with what you are. You're a predator. And at the end of the day, you can't be a part of a culture that, and I do understand the whole basis, Tim, of what you were saying, because it is in the culture. It is what it is. But to me, yeah, if my child is 18 and you're over 21 and you're having sex with my child, and 9 out of 10 at 18, my child is still in high school, whether it's their last year or they're just getting done or whatever you want to call it, I'm going to fully have you charged. I don't care who you are, pastor, preacher, cousin, choir member, next door neighbor, friend. It don't matter.
I don't want to interrupt you, but when you're done, I got a question for you.
Go ahead,
Okay?
jump in it.
No, go
Let's go.
ahead.
So to me,
So,
go ahead.
so if the person who does this is a
Mm-hmm,
predator,
mm-hmm.
are the kids that pursue adults predators too?
The kids who pursue adults are
Adults.
minors. So let's just be real. 90%, like I won't say 90, but the majority of the time, they know not what they do. It's the adults' job to teach the kids. When did it become the kids' job to teach the damn adults?
But that wasn't the question.
And I'm
Everything you
so
said,
so
everything
what
you
I'm saying
said,
to
I
you
agree
is
with you
if the child
100%.
pursues the adult and the adult screws the adult is still a predator. At the end of the
The
day,
adult is the predator.
the adult has the
And
option to
that's
say
and
no.
you're 100% right. I agree with you on all of that. But what the question is if the child is pursuing the adult,
Does it make the
is the
adult a mat?
child
Absolutely, it makes the adult a mat
no,
and a
that's
predator.
not what I'm
That was
saying.
Pierce. That was the
Listen,
question Pierce
that's
asked.
but that's not what the question I asked you.
So
The question
if a child
if the
pursues an
child
adult,
pursues an adult, is the child a predator? That's
is
the
the
No,
child a
question.
predator?
No,
To
he
me,
said no, they're a minor.
thank
no,
you.
they're a minor.
They're a minor.
So
They
they're
don't know no
not a
better. They
predator.
know not what they do. They need an ass whooping.
Okay.
Because to
I'm
me,
asking
if you are a
for knowledge.
child, because at the end of the day, let's not try to construe and make people feel like, oh well, I was pursued first, so that makes me okay because this is a child pursued me. If
That's
you are
not what I'm
pursued,
saying.
if you are pursued by a child, the child is not a predator. He's a child. He's dumb as hell.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, they are a child. They ain't been taught properly.
Okay.
But the question that Pierce asked, and that's what I'm answering right now, is whether a child pursues the adult or the adult pursues a child. You are still a predator. You are I don't care how you label it, nap, cousin, you are a predator because
I
you had
agree
the
with
right to
you.
tell that child no. And if you like me, I would have took your little ass home, had a conversation with you, your mama, and your daddy. Get your baby because
Right.
your baby out here trying to screw adults.
See, me and Dre on the same, like this. It makes me angry talking about it, like for real.
Because my thing though, Smack, is if we let's just be honest, if we look at the people who are trying to make this pass into a law or pass into whatever existence they're trying to make this pass into, these are people who have grown up and they have been screwing kids their whole life, and they're trying to figure out how can I make this legal because it's making me look like a fool, and I'm tired of me trying to beat charges.
Talk about it. That's
because at
what
the
I'm
end of the
talking
day,
about.
they already know. Now the lawyers don't want to represent them anymore. Now they don't
Right.
have a standard. Now they're losing jobs. They're losing their popularity. They're losing their influence. And because it's now happening, especially amongst the culture where celebrities are getting involved, they're trying to figure out how can we make this legal so that we can't get in trouble. And so the best defense they have is we were pursued by the kids. No, baby, you were playing Fortnite and you decided to have a whole conversation with a fucking child. And you need your ass whooped because you came on Fortnite with a made-up profile. You came into these kids' games, into their atmospheres, and then you began to question the child. Well, where do you live, Billy? Well, who sits on with you, Steven? Well, what are you doing later on, Jamal? Well, what else do you like, Shaquan, or whoever the child is? And you're making it, you're trying to justify the fact that you're nasty. And you need to be locked up and thrown in a cell with somebody who has life and ain't got nothing else to do but to now play games with you.
Thank you. I like to answer Tim's question. What does it make the child? I'll say not a victim but groomed. I think
Okay.
a child that pursues an adult has been groomed to be attracted to an adult. They're groomed in some shape, form, or fashion.
A lot of
Um,
times it's what they observe, what they're
mhm.
around, what they
Grooming.
see their parent figure doing.
Yep, they're
So in
groomed.
their mind, this is what it is, and this is what it's supposed to be. So they do it.
Hmm. So I'm going to. Who didn't answer my question? The last question that I asked was it Stan? I think it was Stan that didn't answer.
I think I was the
Hi,
first one to say.
Stan.
Uh, I think you came me first, but um,
Nope, it's a new question.
oh, okay,
If a child pursues an adult, is that adult still a mat?
yeah. Um, but like I said, like I said, we can't we have to categorize certain things that we're talking about here. But there's a whole lot of situations that involve why people are what happens. Um, you got kids that pursue adults, and an adult can sit back and say and make the decision, hey, this ain't the right thing to do. Like I said, when I was teaching school, I had tons of kids come to me with about sex. I never pursued it because it just wasn't right to do. I had parents that sat back and even came to me. I think we talked about this before. That say, "Hey, if you want to have sex with my daughter, Mr. Luca, you can have her. I'd rather have her have
Mm.
sex with you than these little boys that can't do a shit for. These boys can't do nothing for them. So if they're gonna sit back and just give the pussy away, I'd rather them give it to you. So you got those situations. So are the kids groomed to things? Yeah, they very much groomed to situations. They see it in the house. See the stuff that I talk about. I know a lot of people are not going to agree because my experiences are a lot different than a lot of people. I'm one of these people that understand everybody's different experiences. Mine is a lot different because I've been around a long time. I've seen a lot, and I've been into a lot. So when we say kids get groomed into these things, you got to understand you can't just put responsibilities on certain situations. You got predators out there. You can't blame the predator all the time. Well, you blame the predator because that's what they do. But yet we got parents that sit back and put our kids in these situations for predators to take advantage of. A predator would not be doing what they're doing because they did not have the situations. And sometimes we put ourselves in these situations with religion. We put certain things on our children. You know, it's a lot that we do to put our kids in these situations and where these predators can take advantage of it. So to answer the question, I never agree with anything a predator does. I don't agree with anything that a grown person attracted to a child does. I don't agree with any of that. But what we have to do is stop putting our kids in these situations where we put them in the street and we put these certain laws in our house in. You know, you got to be this way, you got to be that way. You can't be yourself. You can't put on makeup in my house. You can't do this in my house. So we put our kids out there. So and then naturally, go to any Greyhound bus station. You got people out there waiting on these fucking runaway kids. When these kids ain't got no place to go.
Okay, so what about the children that are okay with everything and they're walking to school and a map just snatched them? Is that the parent's fault? When does it become the map's
Okay, but
fault?
it's not okay. So in that situation, you don't have to have a map to do it. It could be anybody that can snatch your kid. But it ain't. It's like if your kid's walking to school and a map sits back and grab your kid. I mean, that's any situation. It's not like you. I mean, I had my son going to school every day. You know, there's certain things that if I got those concerns, then there's certain things I have to do. Maybe I should be walking into school every day. You can't prevent everything from happening and then blame. We know we got predators out there. So as a parent, what do we do to protect our children from these predators? So I can't. So now when I know there's a predator,
You do everything you got to do.
right?
That's your child.
Thank
That's
you.
what
Even
you
if
do.
it means
So what
walking,
Tiff just
riding a
what
bike,
Tiff just said
catching a
what Tiff
bus,
just said
a
was
plane to get them to
what Tiff
school,
said
that's
was when
what
your
you
kid is
do.
walking to school and your kid gets snatched by a map. So my point I'm just trying to say is, yeah, walk your kid to school then. But when your kid is walking to school by themselves and then somebody that's a map pick them up, what you just saying, okay, do everything you can. Yeah, do everything you can do. I agree with that. So, but if my kid is walking by themselves and they get snatched, what did I do wrong right there? Tell me where I went wrong. So now if I walk them every day to school, then that's fine. But if I sit back and let them walk to school every day and they get snatched, I'm wrong because I let them walk by themselves. You know, you can't categorize and put everything in a situation and say, hey, this is what it is. This is life. And there's right and wrong everywhere we go. And ain't no book on saying, hey, this is how you do this and this is how you do that. You know, that's why we got the situations that we have.
My child walking to school and being abducted is not life. What life is that we as adults, and I'm speaking biblically and I'm speaking personally, because I was
I
raised
got
by my
kids too.
I was raised
Okay,
by, I got
I
kids
do
too.
too. I
I
got
was
kids too.
raised, and I do too, but I was raised by my grandfather, who also taught me that it is an adult's job to be an adult and to teach kids right from wrong. And it's
Okay,
not, so
so
if
if
an
you walk to
adult
school by
snatches my
yourself,
child.
so if you walk to school and somebody snatch you, what happens?
wait, so
Hold
hold
on,
on,
we gotta
hold on.
talk one person
Hold
at a
on for a
time.
minute. Hold on. I know that this is like a hot subject and we all got opinions on it. But prior to this show, we've always been respectful of each other and nobody cut nobody off and nobody talked over nobody. And that's what the people who tune in are tuning in to see. Adults that can sit and have a discussion. Can y'all please stop yelling and talking over each other? Because it's not a good look. We all cool. We not against each other. We here to discuss this topic together. Stop attacking each other and talking over each other. If you got a difference of opinion, wait your turn. I do it. We all are mature enough to do it. Who was talking last? Who was in the hot seat last, Peirrce?
It was staying in the hot seat.
Stan, could you finish what you were saying?
I'm done. I ain't got nothing to say. I'm done.
Okay. Dre, I'm gonna put you back in the hot seat, and then we're gonna everybody answered that last question, so I guess I have to answer it, but I'm gonna let Dre finish with his response.
You can go ahead and do your response, Pierce. I wasn't attacking, and I didn't interrupt. I actually thought he had concluded his sentence. It was a simple question: is when did my child being abducted become a part of life? That's not a part of life, and I couldn't agree with that, because at the end of the day, like, I have kids. Everybody on here, I think, well, most people on here have kids. You know, if my child is walking to school, generally, especially because of where I live, the school is close to our home. It's not around 1,000. Like, my child's not walking 20 blocks, 30 blocks. The majority of our kids is literally like, hey, we're doing XYZ. We're going to school because it's a few blocks from the house. But the thing that we have to understand with the people that we're discussing tonight is that these people purposely deal with young people who are not just under the age of 18, but most of them are either pre-puberty, or they're just entering puberty. There's no excuse for that. And what they're saying to us is, because we have made the LGBTQIA plus population so broad, we are now going to include ourselves into a category, or into a population of people who are not necessarily, and I'm not saying that it's not happening in the LGBTQIA plus community. Because, like Tim said, you have people that are, house parents, and in the ballroom scenes, and these are the type of things they do. And to that regard, if we choose to stand back and to allow them to continue it, then we are no different than a common criminal. We're okay in it. I don't care who you are. I don't care what lifestyle you choose. I don't care how popular you are. If I find out that you are having sex with minors, your next step will be behind bars. Period.
Thank you, Dre. Ooh, this this is a topic, and I don't know about you guys. I kind of figured we were going to go in this way. We were going to be emotional, and it would get a little heated. And thank you, Tim, for stepping in. Um, and Tim didn't mean no harm. He just wanted to remind y'all that we are family here, and on this show, we have a great time together, and we shouldn't let allow these maps to destroy what we have here. Okay, so but let's get back to it. I mean, woo, hot button topic. In my opinion, yes, if a groomed child chases an adult, that adult that engages with that child and feels comfortable is a map. And I can actually, you know what? I'll share my experience. I was 15 years old. A 21-year-old kindergarten teacher was dealing with me. I hid it from my family. Um, a lot of manipulation, almost manipulated me out of getting my high school diploma. I actually did. I ended up getting a GED. Um, I was stuck on him. I wanted to be with him. I didn't understand the responsibilities or anything it took to become his girlfriend, or even if it would go into the realms of being a wife. I couldn't be a girlfriend. How could I be a wife? I couldn't even hold down a house. How would I be able to get a job without my diploma GED? Literally destroyed me. When it was all said and done, I was so far behind in high school that I had to go to Job Corps to get my life in order. when by the time my family finally found out, they were disgusted. So, as much as some people may believe that a child 15, 16 is capable, we are not. At least I know I wasn't. And I had the best parents. I had a grandparent, grandfather, grandmother that looked over me well, took me in, kept me clothed, instilled values. I was in the church. I never was harmed, but that map was able to touch me. Did I look at him as a map then? No. But today I do. And I'm here to say I was a victim. And I'm okay with saying it. And I wouldn't want any other young girl, boy, anyone, they, them to go through that. But I think, the issue with this is if you've been through, admitting you've been through and accepting that wasn't right. What happened to me wasn't okay. So I'm on to the next question. Does I see a lot of head shaking? Does anyone else want to chime in or vocally say anything, Kalani?
I just wanted to say, never should we put the responsibility on a child. That's the whole problem with this situation that I'm having anyway, is that there's no responsibility that great that should be put on a child as it relates to sexual attraction, because you don't even know what you like. Not at no minor age. You don't know what you like. You don't know. That's the time that you are introduced to things, and most of the times you're introduced too early. So there is never a situation that I'm ever gonna rock with an adult not being held accountable as an adult, because you know better. The children have leadway only because they're minors and they have to be once again steered in the right direction. So no time is a child ever going to be a monster to me in that regard. It's always going to be the adult, because you have the responsibility to make that decision. Because when we stand in a courtroom, they're going to ask you what you know, what you did, and how you went about it, no matter if you were pursued or not. That's my take on it.
Thank you, Kalani. So the next question, and this one should be a little bit more easier. Tim, did you want to say something?
Yeah. Um, I just want everybody to understand that I was molested as a child. So I'm not in any way putting any shame on the child because I was that child. You understand? The questions that I'm asking are not because I support maps. It's just simply because I'm asking questions that I think that the audience will want to know. People want to understand that even though if the child is the victim, when I ask the question, I'm not saying the child is still not a victim. I'm just asking a question that somebody from the outside looking in might ask. If a child pursues an adult, are they considered a predator? I'm not supporting
Can I
the
ask
Right.
questions
something?
I'm asking are not supporting anything because I'm not pro maps. I was molested as a child. I was molested as a child. I was molested as a child. I was molested as a child.
I believe you.
Can I ask you a
Go
question?
ahead.
Do you think that based upon the responses to the question that you gave, that we felt some type of way that you were trying to put that on the child,
But
that
I
is that
wasn't
what you got
trying
from
to
that?
put it on a child. That's like me saying
No, no, I'm saying, is that what you got?
it kind of the responses like after I asked that question, everybody's response was heated and they started protecting the child. But I wasn't saying the child, I wasn't downing or putting any blame on the child. I was the child in the situation. That's what I need y'all all to understand. But after I asked that question, the next two responses were heated and they were defending children, and I wasn't protecting maps. I was asking questions that I think that people want to know. It's a discussion.
Right. So can I say something? I can only speak for me. I can only speak if I can't speak for the rest of the panel. I've been molested too. So I in no way was thinking that you were, trying to not protect the child or whatever. I was going based upon the question. As it relates to Matt, and I'm gonna just make this clear for me, every time it's gonna always circle back to protecting children and protecting
As
the
it
babies. It's
should.
gonna always come back to
It
that.
should always be about
It's
that.
gonna always come back to that because some of us were not protected.
Some of us will
You
not.
understand what I'm
And
saying? Some of us were left out there and we made decisions based upon us thinking that we were grown and we weren't there yet. We were not mature enough to make those decisions. And just because we were not mature, we were taken advantage
right,
of. And so I'm going to always circle back, whether it's heterosexual, whether it's LGBTQ, whether it's older people, whether it's younger people, it's always going to be there to protect children because they do not know. They do not know what they're doing. They don't know what's going on, and they need people to steer them in the right direction. And if you are an adult, you are going to always be held accountable as an adult. No matter what your for me, whatever your mental status is, no matter where you go mentally, whatever, you're always going to be held to that standard as an adult because you, as Vonda has said tonight, know better. And so I may be passionate about it, but it's not personal
got you.
towards you. You understand what I'm saying? It's not
Understood.
personal.
I actually thought what you asked Tim was a great question. And like you said,
It was. It
you
really
did
was.
it to spark thought from our viewers as well as the panel.
Yeah,
So I
right.
loved it. I am not in no way, shape, or form angry at you. I'm glad that you asked it.
Right.
So I don't want you to feel that way. Now,
Okay.
my response was coming from a perspective of putting the viewer that was in my situation in a space to rethink the views they had at that time, because when you're younger and you deal with an older person, you seem to believe that you have control. You seem to think you're in the space of authority, and you are not.
Right.
And as you get older, we sometimes have to come into grips with our experiences. We can't just write them off and say, okay, well, that happened and I learned from it. If you can't acknowledge that you were a victim in that situation and grow from it and help someone else understand and grow, then you are being a disservice to yourself and a child that you could potentially save or help. So
Right.
my response wasn't towards what you said, it was more geared toward the audience and for them to understand. And I
Got you.
love that this panel is doing that. We're giving different perspectives because at some point in time, I believe we've all came encountered a map in some shape or form. And I
Yes.
think they come at us in different ways, and sometimes the ways are unrecognizable. Like with me, I wasn't hit over the head. I wasn't drugged. I wasn't dragged into an alley. I wasn't uh locked in a dark room or them creeping in with me. I was just a young girl outside, and the mat realized, okay, she's outside, she's got different, good parents, but she's a little naive. Let me get next to her. You can get got like that too. So that's why I just love this.
I wanted to say something. There's a reason why my passion is the way that it is, and when I'm ready to tell my story, I will. But no, in no way is it directed towards anybody on this panel. It's just a very serious thing that is going on in this country, well, in other countries too, but they're just going on And these questions are very thought provoking. They make you think, and sometimes it takes you back to whatever that situation that has happened into
Mm,
your life that causes you to respond and know to respond with the passion. People who truly know me know that I'm a passionate person, and I could come off
hmm
real strong when I really got a connection to it. And it is
mm,
nothing against anyone. And that's why I love our panel, because it's diverse. We all ain't gonna think the same. Everybody not
mm-mm.
gonna think the same. I got people watching down want to know what I'm gonna say and how, So it wasn't directed to anyone on the panel. It comes from a passion, and like I said, when I'm ready to tell my story, it comes from that and why I feel the way that I do, and I'm gonna always protect the child.
Beautiful. Glad we all in the same place.
Okay, so let me read a comment from Instagram. Puerto Rican Prince says, always remember that people are going to respond based on their history, based on what they've been through. So, as people, we should be compassionate and be great listeners. Thank you, Puerto Rican Prince. And why? Thank you for watching us and thank you for chiming in. JC said the fact that this even needs to be discussed is the frightening bit. Yes, JC, it does, because how many of you guys heard of maps before I even said it last week? Just unmute and just let me know. Did you hear about maps?
Nah,
I knew it.
you just
I
call it
knew it
Not
as
at all.
pedophiles.
yeah. There you go. That's the name I've always known it referred to or classified
As
as
Pedophiles.
what?
pedophile.
Oh yeah,
People
for
didn't
from.
know that they were rebranding.
But an
Yeah, they're
organization.
rebranding themselves. They have organizations. They are mirroring the LGBTQ plus and trans attractive movement to gain make themselves valid. So next you're going to see them fighting. They're going to be at lobby day lobbying for laws, and under the premise of I am allowed to be this as long as I don't touch a child, not realizing that this, even if you don't put a finger on them, you could still have a relationship with a child. So let me get into the next question. Yeah,
Oh
this is deep.
boy.
This is a deep one. This is very
Everybody good?
Yeah.
Everybody good?
so
Everybody
this
good?
question will be a little easier. In what ways does the inclusion of maps under the umbrella of sexual identity misrepresent or mischaracterize the core principles of being LGBTQ plus and or trans attracted? How does that misrepresent us, mischaracterize us to the Gen Pop or our core principles? How are they misrepresenting us? I think I'm going to put Tim on.
I don't think they're misrepresenting us at all. I think I've already said it a couple of times. Those things are already part of the structure of the LGBTQIA. Forgive me if I missed any letters. Community always has been. So I don't feel there's no misrepresentation because it's already there. There are already maps there, and there are people that are celebrated broadly in the community. It's something that people know about and is so a part of the culture that is you just look away. And then some people have so many ties and they have so much grandeur in the community that if you go head up with the wrong person, you can be alienated from the community just by having a problem with such and such or so and so. And these are the people that have huge organizations that draw in youth. So what they do provides a pool of youth for what they do. And it's widely, openly known in the community. And people overlook it and celebrate these people anyway. That's why I'm not popular in the community, because I've been speaking up on these type of things for years.
Mm.
And when people don't want people to hear what you say, they slander your reputation and they make it so no one wants to talk to you so that people won't know what you know. And that's why so many people turn the left cheek when it comes to maps in the community, because a lot of the maps are running the community. Did I answer your
Wow.
question? Boo? Did I
Yes,
answer
you
your question?
did. Yes, you
Okay.
did. So basically, you saying if we stuck them at the end of the plus, it don't matter because they there anyway.
They are already there in the L, the G, from the beginning to the end. They're already there.
Okay. Vonda, I'm putting you in the hot seat. Thank you, Tim.
You're welcome.
In the community that I belong to, I don't see them. And maybe I don't ask enough damn questions. I don't know. But in my community, my my people I rock with, they not there. Okay, I'm just keeping it real. And maybe I need to. I don't want to be that type of person. But in my community that I rock with, they not there. And that's just, I don't feel that they need to be a part of our community. They can go and start their own. Looks like they've already started, and they can just stay over there. You know what I mean? And put in that work. You know what I mean? What I think is started in the 1990s or 1996, somewhere around there. Maps became started wanting, I guess the emerge started in the late 1990s, so we'll say about 97. Keep growing, because it took our community a long time, the wide range, but personally, none of that is around me. I don't want that, and I don't, you know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I'm gonna stay there.
Thank you, Smack. All right, Dre and Zay.
I agree with you, Vonda. They are out there in the community, yes, but they're not a part of our community per se. And the difference between them is they going for things that they know they shouldn't go for. It's going to get them in some type of trouble. And with our community, yeah, people are like that, but that's not their first go to. It's not like they're just out here doing it and saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go for this child."
Um, what kind of concerns me with this being a part of the LGBTQIA community is that they're not just they're not just minor attracted people who are looking at the same sex, and we have to keep this in mind. Um, there are minor attracted people who look at the opposite sex. There are men who are going after young girls. There are grown women who are going after young boys. It's not just men going after men, women going after women, or whatever whatever have you. And so, to me, to include them in something means that we're okay in their mission. They have their own genre of initials already. MAP. That's the alphabet they choose. That's the letters that they came up with. Um, you know, they could have been mothers against prison, men against whatever. But at the end of the day, they're minor attracted people, whether it's, you know, same sex or whether it's opposite sex. So to me, I think to include them in the LGBTQIA community means that we're agreeing with their stance. We're saying that this is okay, but then B, um, we're also allowing them to come into our community and to pretty much, to me, destroy the fights we've already had to go through. We'll be walking backwards to say this is okay. And so I feel that, and I'm with Smack. I don't know what community they're a part of, but nobody in my community rolls. Um, it is what it is, and I feel like we cannot just turn a deaf eye and say, "Hey, it's okay," because some of them are gay, or some of them are bisexual, or some of them are lesbian, or some of them are trans. We let call it, let's call a spade, and then sometimes we got to be that black sheep of the family who stand out against what everybody else thinks is popular.
Thank you, Dre and Zay. Stan, up in the hot seat.
I'm gonna tell you, Tim said it all. Tim said everything, and he spoke the truth. And we don't have to accept it, but maps are in our community. We accept maps in our community. They're there, and we can sit and say, we can sit back and we accept them in our community, and they are accepted. So when Tim said it, really told the truth. It's there. They've been there. We've accepted them, and and it is what it is. And we can say all the stuff we want to say that I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it, but they're there. They've been there. We accept them. We see it. And for any of us on this panel that say we don't see it, if you don't see it, believe me, it's there.
See, Stan, what you got to realize is you're in Atlanta. You're in a hub where all this stuff goes on. I'm in Philadelphia. I'm in a hub where all this stuff goes on. They're in Delaware. It's not a whole lot that goes on.
Okay.
So they're not exposed to the things that we're exposed to living in large gay cities that are mega hubs for the community.
Because Tim, we see this every
I
day.
don't think the population really matters of where you
It,
when it comes to that.
it does. It really does. Because in places where everybody is spread out and it's less events for them to get close to the kids, and it's you
I see it all the
Philly
time. And we
is,
accept it.
yeah, it's things that are really common that you see in the city that you don't see in a very, very, very rural area like Delaware.
And
Like
I see it all the time. And I guess you're right, Tim, because when I came to Delaware, I really had issues because when I go to a store and buy something, they charge me for a bag. Like, do you want a bag of
Pennsylvania's like that now too.
this?
Pennsylvania's like that now too. But the part that's really hurting me about this is that I just explained the depth of how bad this shit is, and nobody believes it.
But it's every day. And I
And
see it,
Stan,
and we accept maps all the time.
you know
Maps
that
in the
I'm telling the
community.
God's truth about how bad this shit is. And they're not exposed to it, so they don't see it.
And
And
we
that's a
accept maps.
majority. That's
We
a
accept them.
majority. People don't realize it's not outside of our community, it's in the grains of our community. It's always been there.
Yeah.
Y'all don't see it because of where y'all are at.
They've been there. And we see it every time. We see it all the time. I mean, and we accept maps. And
It's bad.
and the thing is, when we sit back and talk about maps would not have any control over anything because all we do is talk about, okay, well, it's the map's responsibility as an adult to guide the child and don't do these things. Where are the parents? We're not putting no responsibility on the parent at all. Then Peirrce, you said, well, you grew up, you had parents and everything, but maps were still around you. So there's nothing that really can be done. because you have protective parents. We all have. But
There is something that can be done, but we'll discuss that at the end.
yeah, but I'm just saying is, there's always things that can be done. But what I'm saying is, even though your parents did all the right things, MAP still got to you. They still got to you some kind of way. So they're there. We know we're there. So don't blame the kid, because you can't blame the kid for it, because the kid's the victim. But we can't blame the parent because the parents did everything that was right. But then you want to blame the MAP, but the MAP is doing what the MAP does. You see, so it's they're there, they've been there, they've always been there. Tim's answer hit it on the head. I mean, they've been there, and we accept them in the community. They're here.
That's the hurt part. That's the hurt piece.
So and we accept them, and we celebrate them in a lot of ways. So, it's like,
that's motherfucking bullshit right there. Nobody celebrates them, and it's not that nobody's saying necessarily it's the child's fault, and it's not the MAP's fault. They're just saying in the overall, like when you think about it as a parent having children, it don't matter whether your parents raised you right or your parents raised you wrong. Yeah, they're out there, but they're just saying they don't agree with what they choose to do.
okay, well,
Nobody necessarily saying Tim is wrong or you is wrong, but you're just saying you're okay with it. You agree with that it's okay.
I ain't okay with none of it.
Everybody else is
okay
just
with,
saying.
no. I'm not okay with any of
That's
it.
not what we're saying
I'm
at
not
all.
okay with none of it. But when I sit back, when I say I'm not okay with none of it, but don't sit back and put excuses and blame certain shit on it. Okay? I'm not okay with nothing, but then there's steps that got to be done. And for us to sit back and play victim all the goddamn time, no, we got to take responsibility for some of our shit. You got children, take responsibility for your goddamn child. Don't sit back and put nothing on nobody. My kids, ain't no MAP gonna fuck with my child because of what I did as a responsible parent. So I'm I'm not gonna sit back and we do this victim shit.
Thank you, Stan. Kalani, I think it's your turn in the hot seat.
Awesome, great. I want to address a few things. Number one, I think it is unwise to think that just because people live in a rural place that they don't see certain things that you see in the city. Number one, there are maps in our families, in our churches, in our schools, in the grocery store. They're all over the place. So they're not specific to a location of where you can see them. Frankly, I live in Delaware now. I have lived in South Beach. I have lived in Boston and New York City and in Philadelphia. So I have seen it everywhere. So it does not matter what location you're in. I wanted to address that point. Second point is, I think as it relates to them being a part of the LGBT community, we've been dancing around this part, talking about maps are accepted and all this kind of, we've been dancing around the fact, the reason why we are dealing with bathroom issues, trans, all
You're breaking up, Kalani.
yeah.
Kalani, you breaking up, sir.
You breaking up. We can hear you, but it's like you're frozen.
It's real distorted.
Nope, you frozen.
You might need to go out and come back in. Let's save your
I'll come
spot.
out.
Mm.
There you go.
Am I
You're
back?
back. Yes.
Oh, I got heated.
Kaylani,
I
Kaylani,
got
you started.
mad.
Kaylani, you started
Yes,
breaking
sir.
up almost from the beginning, so you're gonna have to repeat most of it.
Oh, I'm gonna have to repeat. Oh, I don't have a problem doing that, babes.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing. I don't think that being in a physical location warrants the understanding that we are not privy to certain issues in our community. Maps are in our churches, they're in our communities, they're in our schools, they're in our grocery store, they're at the movie theater, they're all over the place. I've lived in several big cities and I've seen them there. There are pedophiles everywhere. I think the problem here for me is they have always that
Oh, she's
LGBTQ. I
breaking
think
up
we've
again.
danced around with
You froze and broke up. I think the powers that be does not want her to say what she needs to say. I have no idea, but Kalani, you are saying something good and we are missing it.
Right, because you can tell what she's saying is heartfelt. Like she's speaking
Yes.
from the heart, and we can't understand a word.
I think you're gonna need to like exit out of the whole program and come back into the program, Kehlani, for real.
That's my
she
baby.
she was doing it.
Uh-huh. We talk online, so whatever it is that she's trying to say, I know she's gonna say it later on. We because we talk, outside the group.
So
She is like she's mad cool. But go ahead.
yeah, she is going to come back on, and I'm very interested in hearing what she has to say. But to
But
answer the question,
we weren't saying that they don't get we weren't saying that y'all don't get exposed to it. We were saying that y'all don't get exposed to the concentration of it that we get exposed to in the large cities. That's all we
oh,
were saying. So we
okay,
weren't saying that because y'all are in a small area that y'all just don't know what's going on in the world. We're saying y'all get exposed to lesser of it because of how the community is spread out in a small state.
um, I
And
grew
I used to live in Wilmington and Dover, so I've lived in Delaware.
okay. So
So I'm
I'm
not
going to
speaking.
answer. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm I'm going to answer the question. I grew up in Newark, New Jersey,
Mm,
which is a big city. Um, I've lived in North Carolina. I'm currently living in Delaware.
mhm.
I don't think I think there are maps in all spaces.
They are.
I don't think that it's a higher concentration in Philadelphia. I just believe that maps they adapt to their surroundings and they
Mhm.
move differently in suburban areas. They can't move the same way that would move in a city. It's much easier in a city. It's
Right,
more people, it's more
right,
things to disguise what they're doing. But
right.
in
So
the
it's more of
country,
it.
no, they're here. They're here. They're moving different.
It's,
You're
it's
just
I'm
not going
not.
to recognize them the way that you should. That you're not going to immediately recognize them. It's like they are in double stealth mode.
Look,
And
when
they have
you
the means to do it differently too.
they do. And when you've seen so much of it for so many years, you know who they are.
Oh, well, for me, I'm a
For
pretty good
me.
reader of people, and I can say that I already mapped out at least 5. And they are, like you said, they hold positions of power. That's what they like. They like maps like to be in control.
Hmm.
They like to control the environment. Um so yeah, they're here, they're there, they're everywhere. They just move different. Just like a map from the city that would come here will move like these maps. And I
Hmm.
believe that they're organized too. Now,
See,
I agree with you, Tim, that it is embedded in there in our community, LGBTQ plus. It is. They're there, just like they're in the heterosexual community. But I also agree with everybody else on this panel. Just because you're there, that doesn't mean you belong there. Create your community, be proud to be a map, and proudly be that. Go over there and be that, acknowledge that, and do that. We don't want you here. The moment we decide that it's going to be LGBTQ map, we are actually saying we're cool with it. I'm not cool with it. I want it to be LGBTQ plus. And if you are heterosexual or any of those things going down the line, you need to jump over there with the maps, and y'all need to do this, and y'all need to do y'all parades, and y'all need to do y'all marches. Let us know who you are. But what you're not going to do is like what Dre said. The moment you come over here, you're going to destroy over, what is it, 60 years of hard work, because they're not just going to get attached on. They're going to try to shoot for marriage rights. They're going to try to shoot for the ability to create just more than acceptance organizations. They're going to try to take some of the funding from us. They're going to do all the things that we are doing. Because if you look at our movement, it started out as like them, acceptance. I'm saying I don't accept that. I don't want you a part of the community. I know you're there. Just like heterosexuals knew that we were there and we separated ourselves from them. I want you, MAPS, separated and then build your own thing so we'll know who you are. Be proud, be out, fight for your own causes. We don't want you under our umbrella. That's my personal opinion. Um, Kalani is back.
Child, child, just go ahead. Just go ahead, honey. That was my favorite question.
Yeah, go ahead. You still
Y'all,
can answer it.
y'all good now? Y'all can hear me now?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
we can
hear you.
hear
What's
you.
up?
Okay,
we
good.
can we can always hear
Now,
you in the beginning.
good thing I pays my bill. I don't need the Wi.
Look, just don't start off with the first part. Skip to the middle.
Okay, let me get. I just want to say, I think you were saying it, Vonda, as I was coming. I'm not Vonda. Peach, when I was coming in, about the fact that I just think it undermines the years that we have worked so hard to get where we are. So I think that they need to just do their own thing, work as hard as everybody else has worked over here, and do your own thing. Why do you have to be connected to us? It's for validity. It's for somebody to say, okay, we put our stamp of approval on it. No, I don't think anybody should be approving anything like that. How can you really look at and be attracted to a child as a grown individual, attracted to a child, a minor? It does not make sense. Not to me in no world. And I know we have compassion and we understand for everybody, but and they're here to stay, and that's wonderful. But I just can't get with it. I'm never gonna agree with that.
Thank you,
That was
Kalani.
my
You
point.
made it. You made it.
That was my point.
She
In a
made it.
nutshell,
Hallelujah.
Oh
they didn't want
man.
me to get that out,
No, the
huh?
powers that be was trying to stop you.
They was like, shut her up right now.
Oh my God. So you got we done said a lot tonight. We done got heated. After everything, all the opinions you heard, even if you sympathize with them, whatever you took away from it, right? Do you do you think
Yeah.
MAP should be a orientation at all?
In the words of Smack at the beginning of the show, hell no.
Oh
Matt,
God.
you still stick with hell no after everything you heard?
I stick with it. Thank you, Jay.
Tim?
No, I don't think they should be a part of the community, but the reality is they're already a part of the community.
Okay. Should they be an orientation, period? Consider the orientation at all, period.
I mean, if you want to do that, if you want to separate them, I mean that's on you. I mean they're a problem regardless where they're at. Like for real, from the heart, they're a problem regardless where they're at. Whether they're over here, whether they're there, whether they're everywhere, it's just a problem. Adults wanting to do sexual
Answer the
things
question, Tim.
to a child is a problem. An adult wanting to pretty much own a child because children are that gullible, you own them like that. I'll never go for that. I'll never. That's bullshit.
I think I know where Stan. Should they be an orientation, Stan? Should they even be allowed to be an orientation? Or should they just be a psychological disorder?
They should be in jail. There's no place for them. So I mean, just to sit back and say, let's consider them into a society or no, there's no way. How do you accept that? There's no place for that. Not at all. No, no. So no.
All right.
Mm.
Kalani, what you think? Should they be able to be a sexual orientation?
No. I no. Just no.
Thank you.
No.
Oh my God. Well, my opinion, I think that they should be, after everything we said here tonight, and we all had great points, and I love that y'all were objective and able to compare the maps to us and gauge it. But I feel like they shouldn't even be an orientation. I don't even understand why anyone is entertaining it. Why are these doctors entertaining it? I think it's a psychological disorder that needs to be treated. I think um anytime you throw non-consensual into a orientation, it just shouldn't happen. It should just all be consensual. Relationships are about love and connection. And even the ones that are about booty calls, there is a connection, there is a lust. But that is just lust on one side.
I have a question.
Hmm.
My question is there are they considered like a disorder, a mental disorder? Did anybody
They
when y'all
were,
studied it, did y'all find that out?
yes, and what they're doing is trying to fight to become like us. We were once considered a mental disorder, but
And
they're
that's why I'm
fighting to
asking.
become an orientation. Yes, they're
Because
trying to
they
fight.
consider being trans, they call it gender dysphoria. They consider
Right.
it a mental disorder. So is that what they're saying Maps has?
Maps, yes, but they're fighting for validity. They want to become a orientation.
Then I got another question. Are all Maps? No, never mind. Never mind. Because now
Not
I'm
all
starting to see
maps are
things a
offenders.
little. I'm starting to see things a little differently. Not that I agree, but based upon some of the things that go on LGBTQ, I'm starting to see the parallel points that
Uh-huh.
they're trying to make. Yeah. So yeah, I see it, but I don't agree. I'm not trying to understand, but I see the parallel. So I get it. Okay. We'll talk after this, but yeah.
All right. So we we finished all our questions. We're gonna go ahead and
Mm.
put us all spread out, and everybody can ask their questions and
Whew.
get off what they want on their chest. Um, this was a great show, a lot of perspectives, but Kalani, I appreciate what you just said. This was the
Wow.
object. I wanted people to see the
I see
parallels,
it. Yeah.
and I wanted you guys to give them perspective. Y'all see the parallels, but here's the true perspective on why they shouldn't be a part of our
Right.
community and the difference. So
Right.
I'm gonna lay y'all all out.
I get it. I mean, I
Anybody
get
got questions or anything they want to say or
just
anything?
because I
Everybody
get
look
it
like
doesn't mean I
woo.
agree. Let's not get it twisted.
No
Just
questions,
because I
concerns,
see
nothing.
it.
Everybody look burnt out like,
Oh,
oh
y'all
my
quiet
God.
tonight.
Go ahead, say whatever. Any questions?
They
Anybody got a
quiet
question for
tonight.
anybody on the panel? Lord have
I got a
mercy.
comment.
You got a comment? Go ahead, Kalani.
No, I do. I have a comment. As you started asking the questions and people started answering, I started side eyeing a few people because I was thinking that they was moving in one direction, but then they brought it on back and came on through. I ain't gonna say. I'm not gonna say who, but yeah, y'all shocked me tonight.
Come on, Tim. I know it's something there that you're not saying.
Another word. It was a nice show. I enjoyed it, and that's it.
All right. So my question is, how do we stop these maps? We don't want them a part of our community. We don't want them a part of the heterosexual community, our community. How do we stop them?
We show up and we be ready. We show up ready for action.
What that mean, Andre?
So that means that when they're making their points on why they should be a part of the community,
Mm-hmm.
we come back up with our own rebuttals and we show up strong
Oh, I
because
thought you was telling us to
no one
come up
just
and
no one can
speak.
just jump into something and be accepted without being welcomed with open arms. So we stop just allowing anything to happen. We become the voice that we fought so hard to have.
Mm.
I agree. I think we got to fight them like the heterosexuals fought us. We got to take a page out of the hetero book and charge in. But seriously, I think we got to keep them in the DSM. We got to keep them in that manual. We got to keep them in that manual, unfortunately. And I know it sounds hypocritical, but we got to keep them in the manual. I guess, and by them being in it, they'll keep getting mental health treatment. Um, but ultimately, for me, and in my mind, and I don't control anything. I think once you offend, it's the end. You need to go. I don't think
What is the treatment for that disorder? What is the treatment?
possibly shock treatment. Well, they don't do that anymore. Meds,
What's it, like therapy?
meds, therapy. Back in the 60s and 70s, they'll hook them up like they did us and shock treatment and show us multiple pictures on the television and all that other stuff. And you
There's
still
another
went home a
therapy.
good
That's
gay.
crazy.
There's another
That's
therapy.
crazy. What is that?
Whoop their ass every time you catch them around somebody's fucking kids.
See, I
Some
don't see you are nicer than
Legal
me.
therapy,
I say
Tam.
death, but who am I?
somebody gonna make money as the years go by, and we'll all probably all be long gone, but maybe what's his name, the crazy man with Tesla, maybe he'll create some type of lifelike thing for them to purchase. Who knows? It's just
They
crazy.
got him already. They got him already.
Well, I ain't never see him. I don't want to see him. If that ain't working, it like Peirrce said, keep him in the DSM.
I love Stan's idea. Stan said something during this stream that I've thought about myself. When he
What's that?
said the part about the midgets, I've always associated their attraction to the smaller body. And I'm like, why can't they date
But that's
midgets? But
but
I
that's
realized what it is. It's not a child. It's they're not getting the thrill that they want. But I'm like, that would probably be a better choice for you. You want that. I don't know. I
but
used to think
But I
that.
think they go after
but
children
some
because of
people
the
So
innocence.
start trafficking midgets.
but some
I'm
people
not
are
sex
attracted
trafficking midgets.
some people are attracted to midgets because they have extremely fat attitudes. You know what I'm
I
saying? I mean, their
I
attitudes
get
be
it.
fat, fat as a mug, and it's
What, Tim?
and it's that was always my attraction. It had
What,
nothing to do
Tim?
with
And
child. Like they
You
just be
attracted to
having like,
midgets?
the guy
but
I'm talking
dunkers,
about,
huh?
he's a doctor, he's a professor, and uh, a friend of mine, and he has this thing with midgets. And my thing always
Hmm.
was over all these years, he dated midgets, and to me, I thought that was a part of being a pedophile
Right.
because he saw a child's body, but legally, and then the midget, is a grown person, but it was a fetish to me. I mean, and then I can't call it a fetish because, you know, I, one thing about me, and I wish people understand that because my mind is very open-minded,
I
and
see.
I do my best not to judge anybody for their choices. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? And that was his choice. Like people judge me for trans women. That's my choice. And I don't want people to, don't judge me for what I like. I'm not gonna judge you for anything that any of you all like. You know,
Right.
I'm not gonna do that. It's like if I see a trans woman dating a trans man, just like I was at a event this past weekend for trans men, and I wasn't there. I don't judge because you got trans women dating trans men. And one guy told me, I don't understand it. Why would a trans man be with trans woman? Because it's the same. You got the trans man that has no penis, but the trans woman has a penis, but the trans woman is actually taking the top role. I don't sit back and get in my mind and try to boggle that with anything because that's
Can
your
you
choice.
mute the mic so we can hear him?
You see what I'm saying? I'm not gonna get caught up in all that. That's what you like, that's what you do, and so it don't affect me whatsoever. So I'm happy for you. So the thing with when we get to this thing with the midgets and things like that, that's a choice. But when we start talking about accepting these maps, I can't agree with that. No, I don't agree with that whatsoever. And we should not accept it. And when I say that maps are celebrated, what I mean is maps are because we know a lot of these maps in the community and we accept it. We don't, look at stuff that's going on with our own president of the United States. Look at what we sit back and accept as normal with this. And we accept it as normal. But no, there's no place for maps in nobody's community, nowhere whatsoever. You know, your choice is what you do with what you like to do, what everybody likes to do. Hey, go for it. I have no issue. I don't judge you because the bottom line is what goes on in my house and what I do. If it affects you, there's a problem with you. Okay, so but no, you know, yeah, me and Tim think alike. I think, I think we. Well, and you know what? It ain't like we think alike, but I think that our views are a lot alike for whatever reason. But I think I do. I don't know why, but Tim, when he speaks, I don't even want to go after him when he talks because he already answered everything.
Okay. Thank you, Stan. So let me read what none of your business said.
Okay.
LGBTQ plus is only concerned with gender, gender identity, and gender attraction. Minor attraction is only related to age. Thank you, none of your business. We kind of figured that we just at the end of the show and we're discussing this. You catching us on the end. Full disclosure, I was the victim of childhood rape, and none of your business. Also said in the 1970s, pedophiles attempted to be included. They still are. They you look up maps, MAPs. That's the discussion tonight. Go ahead, panel. Any more questions? I see Vonda.
Can
Go
y'all
ahead.
hear me? Because it keeps saying the host got you muted.
Go
I
ahead.
hear
We
you.
can hear you.
All right. So because you said we, I just need to put this out here, y'all. When Stan says we, smack is not included in the we. I need to put that out there. I'm not included we. I'm my own person. I'm not in that we, okay? And Stan, I don't have nothing against you, but when you say we allow it, I don't allow that. So I'm not part of that we. I just got to put that there and put that out there. I'm not a part of that classification that he's referring to as the we. Thank you, everybody. This is a great discussion.
Thank you, Smack. Delaware, full of maps. I actually met a map on my dating journey, and when I figured it out, I actually went to report the map, but he was already on the offenders registry. I was disgusted. The offenses with was with a baby, and I can't even fathom what a grown man would a baby, your girlfriend's baby. So
because none of the things that as a mature man that you should be, you're attracted to the developed amenities. That's what adults are attracted to. I mean, titties, ass, hips. You, I mean, those are the things that it engulf the lustful part of sexual attraction. Kids don't have any of that. They don't have curves. They don't have breasts. They don't have. I just don't understand what you look at that child and it. And I know I'm not the one who passes judgment, but this is something that's personally tied to my heart. I don't understand why grown men and women are attracted to little bodies that haven't developed yet. I don't understand. I just don't get it.
you answered the question. I listened to a video with the map on it, and if I find it, I'll drop it in our group chat. It is exactly what you said. They are attracted to the undeveloped body. And the guy asked him, the interviewer said, well, why don't you date a petite woman that doesn't have the physical features of, what you consider a fully
Huh.
developed woman? And he said it's not the same. It's still some form of development. And I was just in like, I believe it's more than that. I believe it's a control deal. The innocence, conquering innocence, control. Um, I'm wondering if they have an inability to assert themselves to deal with an adult woman or an adult man or trans person or non-binary person. I wonder if that's the issue.
That's a large part of the issue because that's a common characteristics in a lot of the people that I know are pedophiles. Not people that I assume, not people that I think, people that have long standing reputations for liking the young kids.
Mm,
And that is common with their persona. They like control. They like followers. They don't like leaders. They don't like anybody that's going to rebel. They like people who have been through trauma. They like people who are looking to be saved.
mm,
They like people who've never had anything, and they take
mm,
advantage of those things. And then they suck you in with all these material things and the grandeur and the popularity. And while they're doing this, if you have a high sexual nature, they're introducing you to prostitution. If you like drugs, they're definitely going to introduce you to the drugs because that's a definite control.
mm. Wow. Y'all, we done said a lot, a lot. So let's get ready to end the show. Any final words to anyone, advice?
Yeah, I
If
would
you
like,
run into a map or you know somebody a map, what advice would you give to that person? What should they do? How do we change this?
I would like to say to none your business. If you could drop your information into the chat, that would be great. Maybe we should bring you on as, you know, get to know who you are and bring you on as a guest. You just spit a whole bunch of facts in the on YouTube, and we appreciate you.
Okay. I think none of your business just repeated everything we done said tonight. But any advice, how are we handling this? What advice would you give to someone that, a child or someone that knows a map, anybody encountering them? What advice would you give them? I'll
Man,
start with Dre.
Y'all know I'm blunt. Get it together, or we're gonna have to send you to jail, and then we'll y'all get some help from there.
Vonda done disappeared. Tim, advice.
Protect the ones you love. Protect the ones you love. And parents, stop throwing your kids out in the street because they're gay. When you lay down and opened your legs, or you lay down and you drop that seed, that became your responsibility until they're 18. I'm not saying accept everything that your child wants to do, but you as a parent, it's your responsibility to maintain your child and maintain that space until they're 18 because you have no idea what you are feeding your child to when you throw them out in the streets. These people are amongst the huge groups of different types of people that are waiting on your kids.
it's the plan made all along.
These are the type of people that are waiting on your kids. These are the types of people that are waiting on your kids. That's what I have to say.
Stan, your advice?
Like I was saying earlier, Tim covered that, and I was saying that before. We throw our kids in the street, and our kids are very vulnerable, the maps are there. They're waiting for that. They're at the Greyhound bus stations. They for the runaway kids. They're out there for the kids that have no place to go. They're there for the kids that ain't got no food. The maps are there. Um, like I said, there's responsibility on the parents' part, because when we sit back and say, hey, you at this age, or we throw our children out here, that's what we do. And you can't always blame the map, because the map is always going to be, we know the map is there. We know this, they're there, they've always been there. We feed them. And
No,
so
you always doing that.
So they're there. So they're waiting for people and the parents to throw the kid ain't got no self-esteem, the kid ain't got no food, the kid is gay, all the things that you don't accept with your child. The map got the arms open. It's like the Catholic Church and the priests. Our arms are open. We're here. You guys are allowing us to do these things. So we can give advice all day, and we can give it all the time, and I can give advice to. I can't give advice to a child that becomes victim to a map, because I don't know how that child got into that situation to be with a map. And if they get accepted by the map and the map takes them in, there's a reason why the map has that access. So I mean, nobody's gonna agree with what I'm saying, but like I said, I got children of my own, and I know what I have done with them to not make them become victims of this. And if my child became a victim to a map, then I gotta sit back as a parent, and I have to ask myself why. My mother did. I wasn't a victim of a map. I pursued older people to satisfy my curiosity. So my mother wasn't at fault with that. It's nothing that she did wrong. I had my own curiosities of what I wanted to pursue and certain fantasies I wanted. It has nothing to do with her or my parent. So we trying to categorize a lot of stuff here, and we can't put everything into a category. We just can't. But people, adults that pursue children, that's an issue. That is an issue. The grown people that I dealt with when I was 12 trying to fulfill a sexual fantasy, they turned me down, and some did. Some really was like, hey, I can't deal with this. I was going to find it somewhere. And I mean, I don't know how to put it. I can just be honest about it, and there's no politically right way to talk about this.
It's not.
Your experiences and my experiences are totally different. So there's no way politically we can say anything about it. I pursued this as 11 and 12 years old. I remember sitting this man, and this man was like scared to fucking death because I wanted to sit back and have sex with this man just to fulfill something. He was nervous as hell, and I didn't care that he was nervous. He sat back nervous, and I did what I did. Real talk. He was nervous and scared and shit, and I mean, like, damn, dude, you got this 14-year-old kid? And my thing is this. You can't blame my parent. You can't. It was in my brain, and I would never made him say that he did the wrong thing, because he was like, hey, I pursued it. So mentally, I don't sit back in my life and have any regret on any of those things I did. I can sit back and say, damn, I wish I didn't do it. But this is just part of what it was. So I can't categorize map. Map Anybody pursues children, there's an issue with that. It really is. So
Stan,
yeah,
I want to say something. When they first drafted us and told us what they wanted us to be on this show, they said they wanted us to give them real experiences.
yeah,
And Stan, most people cannot sit back and say that they did something that may have initiated their situation. So, Stan, I have the utmost of respect for you for just being straight out about your situation,
sure,
not trying to paint anything like, you know what I'm saying? How our situations came about were totally different.
right,
But I speak on what happened to me because I know there are a lot of people out there experience the same thing that are not strong enough to speak on it. But and if they see somebody who's been through the same thing and made it through it and is in a healthy place mentally and emotionally, it might encourage them to get their self together or to reach out
exactly,
to me and talk to me to help them get them together.
yeah,
So you speaking your reality and your truth fearlessly, bro, I applaud you.
thank you,
I really do. And just keep doing that. We are here to have different opinions. We are not going to agree all the time. That's the reason why we are here
right,
because we're not the same person and we're not going to have the same views on everybody on these different situations. That's why we're here. So don't get mad at each other and cuss at each other. Just understand that your opinion is just as important as Stan's opinion. This is just as important as Smack's opinion. This is nobody is right or wrong. Everybody's opinion is valid, and you don't have to justify your opinion.
because all of our backgrounds are different.
All
All
of
of our
our that's why
backgrounds are
we're
different.
here. That's why
Every
we're
one of us
here
has a
because
different background on how we were raised, from church to everything, and the things that religion puts on us to make our decisions, and we have this guilt and all these things. It's we all have different backgrounds. I'm one of these people. As long as I have lived, I lived. I'm 60 years old. I'll be damned if I'm gonna apologize for any damn thing I say or do. And my life is I'm it's unapologetic. I don't have to apologize for anything I do. And nobody on this panel has to understand what I tell you the truth, and that's the main thing you're gonna get is the truth, and that's part of why a lot of people have a problem with the truth. Some people say,
that
"Damn, man, you just brutally honest."
stand
You know?
and people really don't like the truth.
They
And if
don't.
you're an honest person and you're a type of person that will confront them with the truth, people don't want to deal with you.
That's
They do
true.
not want to deal with the truth at all. If you are, I'm very, I will pull you up on some shit in a heartbeat if you're wrong. But it's not every little thing with me saying is okay. All right. I'm gonna give you a few. Okay, you taking too much. Now I gotta correct you.
Right.
But for the most part, I'm the easiest. I'm very empathetic, and I've been through
I am
so
too.
much myself. It's very easy for me to sit back and definitely listen to somebody else's situation because this is something that I haven't been through. This is something that I haven't lived through. And
And I'm
I
very
know every
sympathetic with that too.
situation, we have a tendency to judge from our experiences, but being open minded is not always judging from where you're at. It's judging as if you're standing outside of a window and you're looking at the whole situation outside of yourself
Right.
and evaluating the situation and giving a honest forte on the situation.
And,
I mean, being a part of being empathetic is understanding that people have different circumstances and trying to understand how that person's circumstances may affect that person. That's
I
what
exactly.
empathy
think
is.
I think Smack wanted to say something.
Go ahead, baby.
I wanted to answer the question. I think a lot of times we as Black people, not all of us, some of us,
Hmm.
misconstrue how a person truly feels passion as somebody judging them. And I'm not saying everyone feels that way. I'm just saying some.
Hmm.
When something is with passion, it's with passion. If a person chooses not, they're not judging you, they're just strong on what they believe in. Nobody's judging anybody. And that's where we as a society have to understand how a person feels is how they feel. There's not much of anything that a person can say to me to make me change my mind about something I'm very strong about. And that's not judging. That's how I feel.
But see, the thing is too,
Can I
I
finish,
can't. I
please?
will
I
never
let
get to.
everybody talk. Can I finish what I'm saying, please, with no interruption,
All right.
no talking over? And then the other thing, a person not strong enough. I think, Tim, you had made the statement that some people are not strong enough to tell their story. Sometimes it's not about being strong enough, it's about trusting who you put that story, whose hands you put that story into. It's not really about being strong because I've told my story to quite a few people, but it has to be the right time for certain things. I'm a one who's all about storytelling. That's how people heal, getting it out. All right.
I
So
agree with you
that part
100%.
I don't agree on, people not being strong enough. They just choose who they decide to tell it the story to. You know what I'm saying? And then the other thing is that I like our panel. It's very diverse. We're all passionate in the things that we believe in and the things that we carry in. Now, I did want to say that to your question, Peach, um, what message do I have for the maps? I want to, they got a whole community. They got no maps and maps. So I think the two of those communities need to get together and fight for what it is that they want, but they don't need to join in to another community that has already been going strong. The LGBTQ plus community is not known for us liking children. It may be there, but that's not what we stand for. You see what I'm saying? There may be some people there that people know, and I'm about to, tell them to go on over there to map. But from
Um,
what I believe, let me say this, because this is how I feel as a lesbian in this community. There may be some over there in our community. It may be. They're not in the community that I'm in touch with. Okay.
mhm.
And I'm going to say that. And y'all may think that that's weird, but my other half will tell you that I rock with everybody. So when I found out what maps is, yes, I've seen plenty of maps in Delaware. I don't consider them a part of my community, but they're out there. But doesn't change how I feel. I don't want them to be a part of my community. Get out there, advocate, do all the activism, come up with your, like Pete said, show yourself so we know who you are. I see y'all got a flag. Wear your shirts proud of, be proud of who you are and don't hide behind it. Let us see
Wait,
who you are because
they got a
I'm in my
flag?
skin. I'm in my skin. I'm doing what I do. Okay, so take your flag, maybe go get you some other paraphernalia. Let us see who you are. Be proud of who you are. Fight for what you want. Strategize, organize. It may take you 150 years to get to where the LGBTQ plus community is. But I do not think you need to be over here. Y'all got enough. Y'all can start y'all already started your campaign. Y'all been out here since 1997. Keep going. But you're
Get
not
the fuck
coming
out of
over
here.
here. And until I die, I will stop it. until I die. If I see anything of it, I will advocate. I will have call to actions out of this world. I'm not saying that I hate you, but you got to do what our community did.
Well, can I say this? Anything I say here, I don't speak to anybody here, anywhere. In my opinion, I'm not trying to change nobody's mind on anything. I don't debate people on things to try to make however you think, that's how you think. I'm not going to come here and try to change nobody's mind and try to make somebody see things any different. I ain't going that deep with that. I'm not going to sit here and say things. What I say on this panel is my opinion only. I'm not trying to get you to think like I think. I'm not trying to get you to see things the way I see things, but I want you to understand how I see things. That's what I'm saying. I don't care about trying to change your mind. Your mind has been the way it was forever, wherever it was. And you're not gonna change my mind on anything because if I believe
Why
in
did you
something,
take my statement as a direct that I was
no,
directing it to
no,
you,
no, I'm not
Stan?
going at you. I'm not going at you. I'm just
Oh,
saying
well,
when you
who are you
say people
talking
about
to
changing
then?
minds, no, I'm not coming here trying to change nobody's mind on anything. This is about opinions only. I'm not trying
Okay.
to change
Yeah,
nobody into anything.
everybody, like I said, this topic is so heated that everybody is gonna walk. I knew everyone was gonna walk away
I respect
feeling
everybody's opinion,
something.
everybody's, and their
This
lifestyle and what they do. I have no
right.
problem with it.
We
Don't have a problem with
understand
mine.
your stance. We understand your stance, and I don't think anybody has an issue. I just think we are all, it's just the whole map situation of it all. Just the audacity that these people exist, that they are trying to get into the community. Yes, Tim, they have flags. They probably have slow. Everything we have, they have. And that's how serious it is.
See, okay. All right, it was a question that I wanted to ask, but I decided not to ask it because I didn't want it to, I didn't want all hell to break loose again. But there are communities already within our community that already practice this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they're in Delaware.
Yeah.
They have organizations,
They
they
have
have
organizations, everything. Yes.
shows in Delaware.
Yes, but they're not. The question for tonight was, do you think they should be at the end of the LGBTQ plus? Do you feel like they should be there? We all said no. We're
Absolutely
not
not.
saying that they should, and I personally feel like they shouldn't exist. They need help, right?
I,
But that's just
I
my
gave the
personal opinion.
I
But
gave the politi- I
should they
gave the
be on the outskirts of us? And I feel they should be on the outskirts.
uh, I gave the politically correct answer no, but I told y'all how I felt about it. They are already here. They're
They are
pillars
here.
in the community already. You can't say you don't want them in the community when they are the people running the community.
Right.
And
And
Exactly.
that's what
we acknowledge that they are there, and I acknowledge everything that you're saying. But they
right,
are also in the heterosexual community. What we're saying is we acknowledge that you can be a map in any community.
right.
We don't want you inserting the name map at the end of our acronym.
I
Hell
think
no,
everybody
because
agrees on that.
okay, so
That's
yeah,
what
because
the show
that
is
drags
about.
us to a different. Okay, see, when we were doing the show, I had no idea they had their own flag and all this bullshit, and they were actually pushing for this. I thought this
Yes.
was something that they were working on and didn't have yet.
No, they're pushing to take map, and instead, okay, they are heterosexual. They don't want to stick themselves as heterosexual maps. They want to take their fight and put it right behind that plus, and we all fight together.
But are they gay?
It doesn't matter. They're trying to say
No.
that they
If
belong because they are
if they're if
identity.
they're trying to attach themselves to us, then that's what they need to be, because that's what this is.
No, but maps aren't just gay.
Well, then the ones that ain't welcome. That's what's over here. That's what we are. You ain't bringing
No,
nothing else with you.
we're trying to say be your own total separate identity with gay maps, straight maps, trans attract
Yeah,
maps. Be that on your side.
right. But then half of our side will be over there.
Well, good, because they would be maps with their flag, and you would know they are maps.
Everything will be ruined because everybody that's running everything will be over there. That's what I'm
Okay,
trying to tell
well,
you.
let them go, but you'll know who they are.
You will. You will.
Let them go. So yes, I acknowledge that they're there. They're heterosexual. They're everything. But you
Yeah.
need to go over there and be with your people and carry your flag and let the normal LGBTQ plus people, unmapped people, be over here. That's in the community, and let the heterosexual unmapped people be in their community.
Do you realize that this is part of what the Diddy case is about?
Yes,
This exact same shit?
yes. This is what the whole elite system is about.
Right. And it's no different in our society. That's what I'm
Mm.
explaining to you.
Yeah,
That
no,
that what this is
we
what you
understand
are
that.
you Pierce, you are comprehending, is some of the other ones that wasn't quite comprehending what I was saying.
I
Because they were,
comprehend what you're saying.
I know you do, because afterwards you break the question down and give me a compliment for it. So I know you understand. You're one of the few ones that comprehends everything that everybody's saying. And even if it walks in your house a little bit, you don't get offended. Like that person's coming for you. It
No.
just, you know, so- oh God. All right, Pierce.
Y'all got it. Everybody good.
Yeah, 'cause yeah. We'll talk during the week. To figure out the board thing.
Okay. Well, we're still streaming. So all of us, I guess I
Oh,
gotta
we still
close out
on?
the show. Yep.
They done left. I thought we were off.
No, we are still streaming, and I'm gonna conclude the show. I thank everybody for their opinions. I know this was a hot button topic, but again, like I said throughout the show, I understood everyone was going to get upset. I understood the viewers were.
Right.
I understood everybody was going to be moved. But the object here was to get the opinions, to compare us to the maps, and to show the difference between us and them, or acknowledge that there isn't. For me, there is a difference. I feel
Mm,
like they need to be in their own community. I don't feel like they bring anything positive by being on the end of ours. I think we'll lose a lot. Um, so with that being said, this was in black. I hope everybody enjoyed. Share with your friends. And have a good night. See y'all next Tuesday for another topic. Stay tuned for it because I haven't thought about it yet. Good night, everyone.